do you ever struggle with trying to control your thoughts? You know, there's so much going on inside your head, and so much of it just seems to pop in there without you asking it to. What do we do with our thoughts? And so we're in here in the studio today with Dr. David Johnson. He's a clinical psychologist, and we're going to talk about thoughts. So David, tell us a little bit about the mind. What is the basic function of the mind?
Yeah.
That might help us understand our thoughts a little bit more.
Okay. Well, I can tell you its number one job is not entertaining you. It's not it's not
Okay.
an iPhone. It's not
Right.
meant to just have lots of fun. It's really, it's got two main jobs. So the first is keeping you safe. It's a protective machine.
Okay, give me an illustration of that.
Yeah, so the most common way this is your mind is doing this is through threat detection.
Okay.
So it's constantly scanning, right? It could be scanning the environment, like, hey, that person over there, their face looks kind of maybe mean.
Okay.
And so I don't want to talk to them because maybe they'll be mean to me. So I'm going to steer away from them.
Okay.
Okay. Could be maybe even checking inside of you. So your brain is scanning your body all the time and asking, hey, what's that feeling? What's that heartbeat?
Okay, yeah.
What's that sensation in my stomach? I feel kind of tight, or oh, is that a panic attack coming? Which is a danger coming from inside of
Right,
us, which is
exactly.
one of the scariest kind, because I don't know how to control that.
Right.
So it's always scanning and checking for danger because it wants to keep us safe. So
Okay.
in
And
that
then
way-
and then the second function?
yeah, the second function would be conservation of energy. So
Okay.
main principle of our bodies is this concept called homeostasis. We want to stay stable. We want to be just nice and easy, use as little energy as possible because, again, relating to point one, we need to save it. What if there's a danger? We got to jet out of here. So it's always scanning and checking to make sure there's danger, but wanting to use the least amount of energy possible. So for example, guys' night out, hey, come on over to my house. We're gonna, and I'm like, nah, I don't think I want to do that today. It's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be good. I think I'll just stay home. I think, oh, go to the gym. Nah, I think I'm just gonna skip the gym today.
Right, okay.
But obviously those things have consequences.
Right. So that's where that's coming from. Okay. So, we get all these thoughts like you've just described. We get all kinds of thoughts coming into our head across a whole spectrum of different kinds of inputs.
Yeah.
Can we control those?
We'd like to.
We'd like to, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We're hoping the answer you're going to say is
That's
yes.
right. Yeah, we have this magic wand. So, and the reason we want to, we all have this urge, human nature, to control our thoughts is because our thoughts, we inherently understand, are driving our emotions. When I see someone that I think is threatening to me or maybe going to judge me, I get anxious. And when I get anxious, I want to avoid. So all thoughts have this attachment of emotion and behavior. And the problem is that we try to clamp down on our thoughts. But if I were to ask you right now and our audience, okay, for the next 5 seconds, I do not want you to think of a pink elephant.
Right. Obviously, the thing you're going to think of is exactly that, right?
It's a doom strategy.
You can't not do it, yeah.
Right, yeah. And so when we try to inhibit, it actually can send a rebound spike of thoughts. So what science is really teaching us now about the way to relate with our mind and our thoughts is more of an open-handedness, you could say. So this concept of mindfulness. Mindfulness is something that's being taught now in therapy rooms all around the world. And it's how do you just observe your thoughts?
Okay.
Which is it's a strange way to think of it, but we're always thinking thoughts, but do we ever step out and just watch what they're doing?
Right, what's going on?
Yeah.
And observe it.
Observe it. And when we observe it, when we get that perspective on it, we can see it for what it is. It's just a thought. It doesn't necessarily define who I am. It doesn't mean anything necessarily about the future. It's just my machine kicking in to keep me safe and maybe even conserve energy. So we don't always have to fight with it. We don't always have to stop the thoughts.
So what do we do with them then? We observe. Do we have any kind of proactive response that we can make to our thoughts?
We do, and that's the other aspect that science has really taught us, this cognitive behavioral therapy, that we do have some influence over our thoughts. Maybe not our automatic thoughts, our initial thoughts.
Okay, sure.
But we have the prefrontal cortex to actually challenge our thoughts. Like,
Okay.
wait a minute, that thought, that's not rational, that's not logical. And there's a few common illogical patterns our minds fall into. We know them colloquially, like jumping to conclusions, right?
Okay,
So,
sure, right.
Yeah, that person looks mean, therefore they're going to judge me. They don't like me. But what if it's just that they ate something bad that day and they're
Right.
feeling sick? And
Right.
Couldn't it just be something else that we miss, we assume?
Right.
So if we step back, if we ask, sometimes I'll say to myself, or I'll ask clients, if a friend was in this situation having these same thoughts, how would you talk to them about it? Because
Okay.
we're often a lot
Right.
more kind to our friends when we talk to them about their thoughts or rational than we are to ourselves.
Right. It's a different framework. Okay, so we can challenge our thoughts in the sense of saying what's really going on here, and does it make sense, and how does it add up into the bigger picture of what I know is real.
Yeah.
Okay, so that leads to the question then is, how do my thoughts relate to that bigger picture in my life, which might include my values or how I actually live. Let's connect the dots for us a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about behavior.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that we can truly control at the end of the day is what I do with my hands and my feet.
Yeah.
And I may not have a whole lot of control over my emotions or my thoughts, especially initially, but I can choose to line up my behavior with my values. And I like to think of values as your true north on your compass. So no matter what, if I'm in this kind of crazy mental storm of emotions and thoughts, if I know what my compass says and true north says, I'm the kind of guy who wants to be kind to people or honest, then whatever my thoughts and feelings are telling me, I don't need to listen to them. I can just know that that's the behavior I apply in the situation. And sometimes it goes directly against the threat detector machine, right?
Sure.
I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to go talk to you, even though you look kind of mean. I'm thinking that you're going to judge me, but one of my values is being close to people and friendships. So
Yeah, and I can see how it would go against the energy conservation mechanism as well.
That's right.
So I choose to do something that might be harder.
Yeah,
because I understand the reward or whatever. Well, that's super helpful. I hope this is helpful for you to understand a little bit more about what's going on between your ears and how you can respond to that in some constructive ways. And so check out the discussion questions on the page below, and we encourage you to have this conversation with a friend or a mentor in your life. Thanks for watching.